Okay, welcome back to the Roast It Yourself podcast brought to you by Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop Roasting Shop. I'm Stephen Burnett with Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi. And with me, as always, is Catherine Mansell, certified Q grader and director of Current Crop Roasting Shop in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catherine, what is going on today?
Today, we are restocking everything. Over the past few weeks with all of the holidays, coffee is such an easy gift, and everybody knows a coffee lover that the store was completely packed. So we had a lot of inventory to bag up and get back on the shelves, and now it's finally looking like we're getting back fully stocked. So that's what we've been doing. How about you?
I mean, that's what you want, right? That's what you want.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you load up with stock, people come out, they gift coffee, which I think is the best gift you can give,
Oh, yeah.
outside of just large sums of money. I think that's probably the best. So, yeah, that is awesome. Well, no, we're in the same boat. We're kind of cooled down a little bit, expected, after all of our Cyber Monday, Black Friday sales and whatnot. But I also see it looks like we've got a special guest star to this podcast. Tell us who do we have here?
It's Lulu. She was not
Lily.
happy sitting on the floor and decided she needed to be up on the bar stool with me while we do the
Yeah,
podcast.
there you go. There you go. That is fantastic. Yeah, I don't want to sit on the floor either, Lulu. I get it. Let's so no, I'm very down. So very good. We've got our first guest star, super fun. We should interview Lulu later. What do you know? She probably knows more than most people about coffee, just hanging out with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Osmosis. All right. We every week we take about 10 minutes to sit down. It's gotten to be 10 to 15 minutes. We should probably be honest about that. Sit down and field questions from coffee roasters at home and professional alike about roasting, tasting, and most importantly, enjoying coffee. You can send your question to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com to get a nice shout out from us in an upcoming episode and to get your question answered and to be immortalized in the internet. So there's that. People will never forget you. All of that you get. This week, this person who we're immortalizing this week is Russ,
No,
who asks,
just rum.
good. What? You're right. That was last episode. See, this is what happens when I don't. Anyway,
Yeah.
we've already immortalized Russ. He doesn't get to be immortalized again. So Ernest, Ernest is getting immortalized today, and he asks, "Good morning. I am really enjoying the podcast. I never stop learning. Quick summary: I really enjoy dark roast, especially a good French roast. I tried using Colombian, then Guatemalan, and finally Brazilian. Each time they were good, just not what I wanted. Then I got the idea to mix the three beans mentioned together. I let them sit overnight together. Next morning, set the hot top to 422, roasted them. Absolutely delicious. I have several coffees I blend, some before I roast, some after. What is your opinion on mixing beans before you roast?" So this is a good question. So he's experimenting with blending, and really the question is, do you blend before? Do you blend after the roast? What factors make a good one is what I gather from this. And so, Catherine, what do you think? What factors make a good roast?
Um,
A blend.
it really depends. Not all beans are going to roast together evenly. Taking coffees into a French roast, different bean sizes and different beans could actually roast really well together if you take them to that nice dark French roast. So what I normally do, I normally blend after I roast everything, because I like to pull out different flavor notes in each individual coffee, specific things that I'm looking for. So I want to make sure I nail down each one separately. And then when I blend them together, it's just different percentages to taste what I wanted to highlight, so really
Mhm.
fruity coffees can get masked really easily.
Right.
So I normally have a higher percentage of stuff that's fruity, with lower percentages of stuff that is, chocolatey or nutty or spicy. At CBC, y'all figured out how to blend all of those coffees together, and they roast really well together. That's not always the case. So I tend to blend after I roast.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. However, and massive caveat, I think like the fact that you're really enjoying these things, Ernest, that's keep doing what you're doing. We kind of chase like what everyone else is doing, but if you land on something you like, oh, please do that. Please keep doing that.
Put a
Now,
stamp on.
what I, huh?
Put a stamp on it.
Yeah, put a stamp on it. Absolutely. Put that on repeat. Now, I will add, I think I fully agree, with what you're saying about roasting each bean to bring out a thing. That's what you're trying to do with a blend anyway, is to highlight a characteristic of multiple coffees that will mesh well together. Keith is our blend master and shipping guru around here, or shipping guru, shipping master, and blend guru, whichever. He does both very well. He's a master, and he has. I mean, it's a lot of experimentation that goes into the blends that we have here, and they're all pre-mixed blends. So, in other words, they come already mixed. You put them in the roaster at the same time, and you roast them up. Now, I'll say just because the question kind of like could cause people to ask the question, wait a minute, is there something about roasting together that causes a different maybe reaction or flavors to develop because they're roasting together, or storing the beans together first? Kind of like, if you were to make a soup, you put all the ingredients together, and because they're cooking together, they exchange flavors and make a difference, as opposed to cooking them separately and adding them after the fact. And I haven't found that to be the case. I haven't found that the coffees are substantially different from being simply roasted together. It's just that each coffee bean is going to roast at its own pace. And if you put three different coffees or four different coffees in a roaster at the same time, they're going to be at different roast levels, even slightly different
Right.
at different times. So they're not really sharing flavors like veggies in a soup. They're more just all going through this process together, and yet they're going to be at different stages because they're different densities, different moisture content, all that kind of stuff can affect it. So I think that's something to consider as well. But it would be, I mean, I think in terms of blending, I have some. I mean, the blend you mentioned is a great one. Like I've made a very similar like Colombia, Guatemala, Brazil blend, and it's great. And it's kind of a go-to. Another one I do is a Guatemala, Costa Rica, and some African coffee, usually Ethiopia. That's a really good one too. And they tend to they're very different, so they tend to kind of complement one another when you go to make your coffee. So yeah, I think that you're onto something good here. I think if you have a blend that you can mix together and then roast and it comes out great, keep doing it. That's what we have. All of our blends are like that here at Coffee Bean Corral. But if you want to get granular with it, if you want to really dial in a blend, then you need to roast those ingredients separately so that you can highlight specific elements of each coffee that you want to bring out, and then mix them together after you've roasted, so that they're all good. Um, wow, I'm hogging it. But last thing I want to say is I know some people that do blends of completely different roast levels. Like they'll have some dark, like this coffee I roast dark, and this coffee I roast light, and this coffee I roast to like a true medium, and we mix those together. And I mean, to me, just on the brew side, have you had one of those before,
I don't think.
Catherine?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it's a lot of people do them. I found a lot of people that do them. That'll write to us or tell us that. And to me, there's only two things. Again, if it's working, do it, right? But the two things that I consider, I do a lot of espresso, and if you mix different roast levels, it's going to be really hard to dial that shot in, because the lighter roasted coffee is just going to be more dense than the darker roasted coffee, even when ground, and a lot more channeling can occur there too. So something to consider. People do that. People really like it sometimes, but when I'm doing a blend, I try and roast them all to the same degree, and then blend them at that point. But yeah, there's that. Anything else you wanna add to that, Catherine
Um,
or Lulu?
Well, I was going to say what I like to blend together. I think I've already said this on the podcast, but Tanzania peaberry and Papua New Guinea organic purosa, those are so perfect together. That's my favorite blend, and I did it one day where I put them both in the roaster together just to see if it would work, and they did roast really well together. I think that was a 1 in 50 chance, that it actually
Yep.
worked. But most of the time, I'll roast them a little bit separately. I like the Papua New Guinea a tad bit darker than I do the Tanzania. But that's my go-to blend, Tanzania and
There you go.
yeah.
My favorite blend is every single time I take random coffee, throw it together and brew it. It's amazing. And I don't know what it is, and I can never reproduce it.
Yeah.
It's my lot in life. Um, yeah, Ernest, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed being immortalized in this podcast in this way, and I hope the answer is helpful to you. Now, Catherine, in this whole discussion of blending, is it possible that we left something out?
Positive. I'm positive. Yeah.
Oh, you're sure?
Yeah.
She's sure. Okay. Well, Catherine is sure we left something out. So we really, 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 unlike normal, this is like DEF CON 5, if that's the worst one. DEF CON 5, the big one. We need you guys to tell us what we left out. Give us your opinions, share them. We know you like doing it anyway. Don't be shy. We know you do this all the time. That's what people do is they comment on things on the internet. So come do that. Tell us what we missed. Give us a recipe for your favorite blend, the one that you do. Do you pre-mix? Do you mix after roasting? Let us know all of this. This is all good data, and it all helps us grow into better coffee roasters and grows the community. That's what we need. We could not do this without the folks that handle our audio and video graphic work for the podcast. Thank you guys so much. You make us look and sound good, and we need that as much as possible. Remember, listeners, send any questions you have about coffee roasting, coffee brewing, coffee tasting, any of that stuff to questions at riypod.com. Otherwise, have a great day and happy roasting.
Happy roasting.
Love it.